am thankful to have connected with you on this podcast. I want to ask you a favor. Please do subscribe. And by doing that, you help us to bring on many wonderful guests that we can all learn from, grow, and make an impact. Thank you so much, Hyacinth, for joining Immigrants Making an Impact to the podcast. Please tell us a bit more about yourself.
Sure. So I am Hyacinth Tucker. I am the owner of the Laundry Basket LLC, which is an on-demand mobile-based laundry and dry cleaning delivery solution based in the Washington, D.C. area. I'm originally from the beautiful island of Jamaica, and I migrated over to Jamaica as a child, and I went to Brooklyn, New York. So I spent most of my childhood in Brooklyn, and I came to Maryland, which is where I currently reside, from college. So I came to Maryland from college, and then I joined the military, and then I just settled roots down here in Maryland. I'm a married mom of 2 kids.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So that means that you came to the United States at a young age.
Yes.
Take us to going to school and then getting educated. Did you face some challenges? Did you know that you are an immigrant, and did that have any effect on you?
Well, it's so interesting. As they say, New York is a melting pot, and it really is. So I knew that I wasn't from here, but I wasn't made to feel so much different. So when I first came, of course, I had an accent. So that was something that I had to adjust to and, got a little teased about. But honestly, where we moved to was like a type of Caribbean culture. So there were a lot of peoples coming from different islands. So it really wasn't, that bad. But I did, of course, get most of my education here in the United States. And, when you come from different places, like the culture is different. And so education was very important. My mom actually was a school teacher in Jamaica. So she really made sure that I really studied, did well in school, and I really excelled, honestly.
Amazing. So being an entrepreneur and going through your education, did you know from the onset that you always wanted to start your own business? Because you said you worked in the military for some time.
Yes. No, I didn't know always. Actually, I wanted to be a social worker. There were so many people when I came to New York that kind of influenced me along the journey. And so that was something that I wanted to do. I always wanted to give back. I always was community minded. I always was about service. So I knew from my occupation that I wanted to be a social worker. And that's what I decided to go to school for. But of course, life, starts lifing and things change a little bit. But I always knew I had big ideas. Like I was that child that always questioned everything. Like, well, why are we doing that? And I mean, I know children, they say do that anyway, but I think I took it to another level with my questioning. So I always just wanted to know things. I always just wanted to figure things out. And I realized as I continued to progress in like careers and different things that I always was like, well, if it was me, I would do it like this, And that was like the start of like, you know what, I think I'm just going to do my own thing. And that was actually the start of my entrepreneur journey, was with those ideas, those big ideas. So I've been an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur for over 15 years, full time.
A serial entrepreneur. That is wonderful. But I know that research has shown that immigrants are more likely to start their own business as compared to natives. Do you think that your background as an immigrant also influenced your journey to pursue an entrepreneurship?
I do agree with that. Usually as immigrants, and, I won't speak for all, but usually you come here with a desire and to want better and to have more. Right. Mm-hmm. And so usually you find out really quickly that limits that are placed on you in like more of like traditional 9-to-5 jobs don't really work for you. Like you already come here starry-eyed and it's, you're coming over to the States and, wherever you immigrate from, but you're coming for opportunity usually. Mm-hmm. And so uncertainty usually happens more when you can control that destiny. And so, yes, like as you see, a lot of these moms and pops, especially coming from a place like Brooklyn, New York, a lot of like the stores were, immigrants. It was, we went to the Asian, carry out down the street. We went to the bodega that was, with people with a Latin influence. We went to, the pizza shop, and that was, people that migrated over from Italy. We went to, of course, the Jamaica spot. So it was like I saw at a young age, like people just coming and doing their dream and whatever it was, whether it was cleaning shoes, making pizza, a deli, whatever it was, but they decided that they wanted to pursue a dream and they were, successful about it.
That is so sweet. Good to know. And thank you for sharing that. Looking at your line of business, the laundry business, you could have done anything. You could have done so many things. Why did you choose to start a business in the laundry industry?
Right, right. So yes, and I have done a lot of different things. But yes, currently I am in the laundry business. So what happened is that July of 2022, I went over to a girlfriend's house and she had clothes everywhere. And I mean everywhere. Like it was coming off the lampshade, it was in the sink, it was just everywhere. So I'm picking up clothes, I'm talking to her, and she's like explaining to me, she was like how busy she was. And she was just like, I work all these hours, I come home, I still have to cook, for my husband and my kids. And then I have to run out because I have to go to this meeting or this, community service or something with the church or whatever. And she was like, I never really have time to do it. So she was actually buying new clothes instead of washing the clothes that she has. And I was like, okay, now that's all that's going to do is just create more laundry, right? So she was just like, I just wish that I had someone that would just come and just wash my clothes. I paid for it and, just bring it back. And I said, I'll do it. And I said it just, I don't know where it came from. It just came from, I don't even know. And I just said, I'll do it. And that's how it started. So it literally started with seeing a need and seeing, and me and my big idea is like, oh, I can address this need. It's just laundry, it's just washing it, drying it, folding it, that type of thing. But it's taken me on such a journey from just that. But that's how I got started. So that was July of last year.
Great. So you saw a need and then said that you could solve this problem, this challenge. Talk about putting structure into this idea. So you have an idea, you want to solve this problem. How did you set off to start and then turn it into a viable business where you can receive an income and then also take away the problems of your consumers?
Right. So that was it. So that was like my first customer. So of course, after that, it was like, okay, so what's my next step? How do I get more? So I decided that it was just going to be like, a small like side hustle. And I said, okay, who else fits that same characterization that I just did? So we're looking at moms and we're looking at moms with small children. So I said, okay, I'm going to hit up groups that cater to moms with small children and offer my services to them. So that was what I first decided to do. So I knew that I needed to have a name. So I came up with something really quick, really simple, the laundry basket, so that you know what I do without me having to explain what it is.
Laundry basket. Okay.
Right. The laundry basket, you know what I do. So I came up with the name and then, had to go through like, the process. So I made it an LLC, got a bank account. And then I was like, okay, I went to a group of moms and they were like interested in it. And I was like, okay, this is really good. And then really with the business, how the business has grown is that you have to you always have to be listening to what the needs are. You also have to like, innovate. So I looked at like people in that space, like my competitors, and I looked at what they were doing and what they weren't doing so that I can fill in those gaps. So one thing that I saw with my competitors is that they did laundry, but I was like, but what about the other things that need to be cleaned? So that's dry cleaning. So I said, you know what? I'm also going to do laundry and I'm going to do dry cleaning. And then one of the things that I heard as I was doing that was, hey, there's a missing button. Do you know some place where we can go and get that done? Or my zipper is broken on the back of my dress. And I said, okay, we can do that too. So then we went into alterations. And when we went and we opened up those doors, then different opportunities came to us because now we can go and do like corporate. So
Mhm.
we didn't have to just do residential. We could do corporate because they have items that need to be cleaned and pressed as well. So then we started knocking on those doors and getting those type of clients. And so we decided on like luxury apartments. So we just really targeted luxury apartments and we got our first contract. Then we decided to go up and do hotels. We got a contract at a hotel. And then we was like, okay, now maybe we can start doing it as for the government. And so, we were able to be a subcontractor on a government contract. So it's really just about being open, being willing to pivot, being open to, different areas of service and regions too. Now we service Maryland, DC, and Northern Virginia. So we've grown in area and services.
Girl, you have such big dreams and you are turning them into a reality. Wonderful. You are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, up until now, it seems that the journey has been very smooth, but I believe that there were some challenges along the way. So, how do you overcome challenges as an immigrant entrepreneur?
Right, right. Well, as far as an immigrant, one thing I learned from my mom in my experience is that resilience, that determination. So my mom came over, obviously, in her, I guess like 30s, late 30s. And so I just saw her, and we hate to use the word, but I can't find a better word to say it, is her hustle, her grind, her
Mhm.
determination. She didn't let that stop her. She came over, she found a job, and it was a grueling job. Like literally, I was what they called in that time like a latchkey kid. So I saw my mom like early in the morning, and then I went to school, and she was gone when I came home from school, and she didn't come back until late at night. So the only time I really, really saw my mom was like on weekends. So it gave me that independence from the beginning as far as like my thoughts, how do I take what I think and what I know I need to do and get it done. So I had that independence from like an early age of like I know I have to do this. I know I have to make sure I eat. I know I have to do this. I have to do my homework. So it gave me planning skills. It gave me determination. It gave me that resilience, and it allowed me to be an independent thinker. So that has helped me throughout my journey. So when things happen and things don't kind of go the way I would like to, I kind of draw upon those experiences that I've had as a young child. And I was like, and I always say to myself, look, if I could deal with this, I could deal with that. And I
Mm.
draw upon my history of things that have challenged me in the past, and I made it through. I overcame those. So this setback is not going to be any different from that one. I'm going to get through it. I have a very strong faith in God. And so I've seen where he's brought me from. So that also has helped me. So, but when I'm going through it, I just kind of just focus on the problem because I
Mhm.
try to take, because I can, sometimes get emotional. So I try to take the emotions out of it and like, okay, these are the facts. This is what's going on. How do I address it? So with my particular business, one of the biggest challenges is, besides of course finding clients, but it's getting that trust of a client. So we're dealing with private and personal belongings, right?
Mhm.
So you don't know me. So now you have to trust me with these items that they're gonna come back the way that they, and as far as the condition, but they're gonna be clean, the quality, that I'm gonna come when I say that I, arrive. If I'm telling you I'm gonna be there, the time I'm gonna be there. And so it's overcoming that because most people are not used to a laundry service. They're not used to just like, oh, I just push all my clothes, my prized possessions outside. Someone comes pick it up and brings it back to me. Like, what? So, and then logistics. So we are in different areas and different locations. And so it's, we're in a very urban area of the DC, Washington, DC area. So with
Mhm.
travel time, traffic, it can get really crazy. And I'm trusting people to get in different places and time and managing that, the logistics of it all. So things definitely happen, but I push through it. I push through it.
Of course, things do happen, but we have to keep pushing with resilience, hard work. we are
Yeah.
going to sail through and succeed.
Yes, yes. And entrepreneurship, it's not even, it's a journey, but it's an up and down like roller coaster
Mhm.
because sometimes you have like such high highs and you're just like on top of the world and you're just like, this is amazing. And sometimes you have those low lows where you wake up and like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Then I should just go back, you know.
Mhm.
So definitely I've gone through it all. And I can feel that way in one day. On the same day, I can feel the highest of the high and the lowest of the low. So you really have to take each day at a time and you really have to draw upon like that inner resilience that you have.
Thank you, Hyacinth. So before you came to start this laundry business, you have said that you had started a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
Many times I speak with many entrepreneurs and they have also been through it that they start businesses and then they close it down or they stop and move on to start new businesses. Why did you stop the businesses that you started and then moved on to this new one?
Mm. So the honest answer is that I do have shiny object syndrome. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I do kind of because but that's the thing for entrepreneur, you have so many different ideas.
Uh-huh.
So in your mind, I can do them all. And sometimes, some things just take precedence, and sometimes things, and that's another thing with entrepreneurship. Sometimes you have to know when that season is over.
Mm.
So for me, I kind of know when seasons are over, when it's no longer either working for me as a person or as a lifestyle, or when it's time to like, I feel like I've done what I set out to do in with this particular business, and
Mhm.
I'm okay with it. Because sometimes we start things and we don't have to see it all the way through. People, they have mergers and acquisitions where it's like I got it to this level, now I can sell it to someone else. So and so, you just have to be comfortable with that and know. But the thing is that I get these ideas and I push them out. So it's kind of like a baby, right? And
Mhm.
so what happens with a baby, they grow and sometimes they leave. And
Mhm.
you have to be comfortable with that. And not to say to keep on pushing out more babies. I'm not saying that. But that's how I don't want to push out a whole bunch of babies, but that's how I look at it. So those businesses, they served me for that season that I was in. And I have learned to like, let things go and listen to like my gut and to say, okay, that was a great experience. Now what's next for me? And I think as long as you're alive, you always have dreams, you always have goals. And so, it doesn't mean you have to stay with one particular thing.
There's so much to learn from you. What role did failure play in your journey? How did you navigate failure to get to where you are now?
Right. So if we look at the word failure,
Mhm.
it has like a negative connotation to it because it basically says, you did not succeed. So it looks like it's like the opposite of success. But failure can be a blessing,
Mhm.
right? So it can also open up new doors and new opportunities that are better for you. And I do believe in like we change. I've been an entrepreneur, like I said, for over 15 years. I'm not the same person I was 15 years ago, right?
Mhm.
So, that's so what may look like. And so I don't look at any of my enterprises as failures. I
Mhm.
look at it as just stops along the road. And so, and then it's like, like it's a bus. It's my time to get off. That's all. So I don't look at anything as a failure, and everything is like a lesson. I've learned so much that I kind of take from different things that I've done, and it has helped grow me as a person.
Mhm.
For example, one of the businesses that I had was a cosmetic store at a mall. I learned so much from that experience because it was retail, it was inventory, it was a product where most of your employees are young. So I learned about, I would get those phone calls the day of 15 minutes before someone is supposed to come in. Oh, Miss Tucker, I can't come in today, blah, 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 blah. So I got used to having to deal with employees. I had inventory and with inventory sometimes at a store, they conveniently walk away.
Mhm.
So I dealt with how to deal with theft, how to deal with inventory not being right, you know, I dealt with so many different things. It taught me so many different things being in retail. Another business that I had was a braiding shop. So I had a braiding salon. What that taught me is to and I'm not going to say this for everyone. So once again, these are just Hyacinth lessons,
Mm-hmm.
is to never get into a business for me that I don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know how to braid. I came up with that great idea because I was tired of paying someone else to braid my daughter's hair.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, why don't I just open up my own stuff? And then, it could just be my staff. And then, whatever my daughter needs her hair braided, and I could just do that. And how hard can it be? I don't know how to braid. So I depended on other people. And then what happens with other people, sometimes they don't show up for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the worst thing to have a business where someone dictates your money. Because I had someone, and you know how it is with braids now. Now, someone done took their hair out, they got hair sticking up all over the place, and you can't tell them, oh, well, maybe they didn't come in today, so you're not getting your hair braided. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that was when that first time that happened, I said, no, I can't. I can't, because it was just like, I'm depending on someone else for my livelihood. That's going to break me as a business if I can't step in as an owner and do the work that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing I learned in the business is that you need to know how to do every role. You don't have to do it, but you need to know how to do every role so that if something happens, I can jump in and I can just go ahead and, make sure that that client gets taken care of, because the
Mm-hmm.
client is the important thing. So I had to quickly decide that this wasn't going to work for me for the long term, because I wasn't prepared to learn how to do hair or whatever. It just sounded like a great idea. So what that may have been looked at as a failure, but it's taught me a very important lesson. So now I make sure that I am proficient in everything. I may not like it, but I know how to do the marketing, the lead, the account. I know how to do it all. I outsource it to people now. But if anything were to happen, I know how to jump in and do it. I know how to drive. I need to know how to fold, wash, this, that, and everything. So that was the lesson that I learned.
Great. So, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs looking to enter global markets and engage with diverse customer base?
Yes, the world is so open to, like, they use this term. It says like the world is an oyster, and
Mm-hmm.
it basically means that it is so many possibilities and opportunities out there. But we have to learn how to collaborate and network. We have to learn how to meet people, because you never know how that person can help you, how that person can bring your idea forth and help you and collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't do enough of that, I think. We don't do enough of collaborating and saying, hey, how about we work together? Or do you know someone that can help me with this and I can help you with that? And so when we go into the global markets, there's so many opportunities for businesses that we can get into. And it's like, as I say, coming from a place like Brooklyn, it's like I see that. Like I said, I already named like 5 different nationalities and things that were in my community within a 5-minute walking distance that were owned by people that came over, to here. There's so much import and export that's going out. It's just getting that knowledge and, understanding it. YouTube will teach you a lot,
Mm-hmm.
or meeting people that are currently doing what you aspire to do. So one of the things that I always say to myself is that I want to be in rooms where my dreams are other people's realities. So I want to be in a place where people are doing what I want to do so that I can learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an open book for any idea, any idea. And like there's so many. I met this lady just last week, and she has a shoe company, and it's like $1 million shoe company,
Mm-hmm.
and she only caters to people who have larger feet. So she only does sizes 12 and up.
Wow.
$1 million. And she was just like, I wear a size 13 and it was hard for me to find shoes. So I decided to start a company for people like me. $1 million business, global business. Because what, people all around the world have size 12s and up, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so she came up with that idea because it was just like, I saw a need. And I was like, why not? $1 million and growing. So it's, and like I said, the world is an oyster.
The world is definitely an oyster. It's our stage. Let's get on it and then make our dreams come true by solving the world's most challenging problems.
That's right. That's right.
So, Hyacinth, what is the most important thing that you would do today to make tomorrow better?
Action. Because there are a lot of people with dreams and goals, but that means nothing if you don't act on it. So it's like you think, you plan, you act. And that's how I live my life every day. But action always has to be a part of every day. I have to sit down and I have to be like, what do I do today to move my business forward tomorrow? So you have to act. You have to act. Take these ideas and do something with it. Because you could have thought like, oh, a podcast sounds nice, and maybe I should, and you could have been maybe you shouldn't for like 6, 7, 8 years, but you decided to take action on it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how, like you said, you've been able to meet so many amazing people is because you took action. So act.
Absolutely. And action is, as Christians and as believers, that action is like taking steps of faith.
That's
Faith,
right. That's
faith
right.
without action is useless.
That's right.
So you
That's right.
believe and then you take action. And here we are, and I'm talking to one of the amazing entrepreneurs out there making a positive impact across the globe.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So it's time to invite our community to support you. Are there any projects you are doing that you want us to know about?
Yeah, so we have a social impact arm. So what we do is that because we do laundry, we believe that everyone deserves to look good, feel good, smell good.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is that we work with local nonprofits, and as they get clothes in as donations, we launder them and then we deliver them to homeless shelters.
Wow.
Because just because you're, homeless doesn't mean that you don't have the right, like everyone else, to look, smell, and feel good. So that's our social impact arm. However, as my own passion, because my mind still goes on my social work experience, is that I believe that there's a root cause to a lot of things that happen in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I'm able to see in my personal business is mental health. So I look at the stress, the frustration, the burnout, the overwhelm with the women that I work with. And sometimes men too, but more likely it's women. And
Mm-hmm.
I look at how we have this thing called the superwoman cape that we talk about, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
always feel like we have to do for so many people. But then what happens to us? We don't have enough in our cup to pour out for everyone and still have enough left in our own cup. And then
Mm-hmm.
what that leads to then is depression. It leads to overeating. It leads to stress, which leads to heart disease, which leads to, strokes, which leads to high blood pressure, which leads to death. What we're trying to do in our own small way is to kind of stop some of those things. But
Mm-hmm.
we encourage people, your time is very valuable. Your time is very valuable. Outsource certain things. Get out of that mindset that I have to do everything myself, that I have to cook, clean, or whatever. And that's fine if you love it and you like it and that's your form of self-care. I meet people and they're like, oh, no, it's therapeutic for me on a Sunday to wash clothes. And that's perfect. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not everybody's story, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some people who look at that pile of laundry and it immediately puts them in a state of overwhelm and make them feel like I'm not enough. Why is it that this pile just keeps on getting bigger and I just can't do it? There are
Mm-hmm.
people dealing with real issues that are just like a pile of laundry just makes it just like exacerbates how they feel. It's just, I want to help people and to understand that even though this is what I do, it's I'm helping people to get out of that cycle of just not taking enough time. So if I can give you 4 hours a week back because you're not doing this chore, that makes me feel happy. And this is a business where I actually get to see the impact because sometimes you know that you're doing great things, but you don't really get to see it. I get to see it. Like the look on people's face when they push that laundry out, the look of happiness when it comes back, nice smell and fresh, fluffy, folded, all that type of stuff, organized. Like I get to see the impact. And it's like these small things, but you just never know how that impacts someone.
Mm-hmm.
That person now can spend time with their husband. Then that person can now spend more time with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
They can now spend more time with themselves because of that time being allocated to someone else to not have to go and do laundry.
Mm-hmm.
So 90% of our clients have washers and dryers. I have to be honest with you. So we do deal, of course, with a lot of people who, just don't have access to that, or for mobility issues or seniors. But 90% of my clients, they have it right downstairs, but they value their time. So yeah, that's more of like the social community thing that we're doing. We also make sure that we're heavy in the community. So we sponsor events in our community. We attend community events, so we're putting our dollars back into the community that's been so good to us.
Wonderful. So if there's anybody listening who wants to support you, where can they find you and connect with you?
They can always find me on my website, which is laundrybasketdelivery.com. You can chat with us, with a member of our team at any time. You can also email us at info@laundrybasketdelivery.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Laundry Basket Delivery. So we make ourselves accessible, so you can always reach out to us at any time.
Already. So finally, please complete this sentence. Immigrants are
the most creative, innovative people in the world.
Woo! Thank you so much, Hyacinth, for coming and then showing up fully and giving us your all. We have gleaned, learned, and we are going to take action. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.